if the reactive mind's in charge, it's very difficult to have control over that until you deal with the resistance. The thing that you can have a greater deal of control over is your willingness to experience. Simple process you can use right now. Now, this process is a very specific process. It is useful to do it on your own. It is often better to do it with someone else taking you through it, because they will ask the questions in a slightly different way, but there is a process, right? Now, this process is a process to support you to handle things that you're unwilling to experience. So if you find yourself in a moment where you're a little bit grizzly, a little bit unhappy about something, you're a little bit on edge, there's a series of questions that you're able to ask yourself. Now, question 1 is, what am I unwilling to experience? I'll also say that this can be used in a past tense version. So you can be using this to deal with something that you know happened a week ago or a month ago or even 10 years ago, right? And therefore the question would be, what was I unwilling to experience? Now, the thing I want you to be aware of with this is that this is not something for you to think about. It's to feel. What am I unwilling to experience? Feel it. Don't logicalize it, because the logics aren't the problem, are they? Right? It's the feeling. So what am I unwilling to experience? And you're going to get answer A. It doesn't matter what answer A is. And whatever you get, whatever you feel, don't second guess it. Don't judge it. Don't go, nah, can't be that. It's whatever you feel. Does that make sense? Okay? So what am I unwilling to experience? You're going to get answer A. Question 2. Well, if I was willing to experience, insert answer A, what would I then experience? Answer B. Now that question is very specific. The wording is specific. So it's important that you use that wording. Not wording like it, that wording. Does that make sense? So if I was willing to experience, insert answer A, what would I then experience? Now you got answer B. So then you got question number 2 repeating itself. So if I was willing to experience, and this time you're going to insert answer B, right? Because you've already dealt with answer A. So now insert answer B. If I was willing to experience answer B, what would I then experience? And you're going to get answer C. Excuse me? No, it's question 2 repeated. It's not question 3. It's question 2 identical, repeated. And it repeats, and it repeats, and it repeats. So, I'd like you to look at it this way. When we spoke about the ruin cycle, I talked about it being a series of states of existence, right? It's a section of a states of existence, a scale. So, okay, Siri, what can I do for you? I asked if that made sense, and Siri said yes. Mint. All right. So I'd like you to just see that our emotional field has this state. See, it's a scale of existence of emotions, right? And so if you are sitting in a place of anger, so anger is in a certain spot on this scale, right? Is anger where you want to be? Probably not. Where do you want to be? Well, a little bit above that. You want to be in a better state above that. So what this process does is it supports you to inspect whatever it is that you're unwilling to experience. And in order to answer this question, it's mandatory that you shift your willingness to experience the thing that you were unwilling to experience. Now that can be a mouthful. Does that make sense to you? Yes or no? Show of hands for yes. Okay. Show of hands for no. All right, good. So is everybody happy to just make sure we go through this a little bit further? All right. So you're going to have things that you're unwilling to experience. Not all of them are going to be big, right? This works with really subtle stuff, right? So, that example might not be subtle. Who gets annoyed at the sound of someone chewing with their mouth open? Right? There you go. There's one you could use. So what is it you're unwilling to experience? Now, whatever your answer is, right? Your answer could be the sound of chewing with the mouth open. Okay, good. So if you were willing to experience the sound of chewing with the mouth open, what would you then experience? Fucking anger. Good. If you were willing to experience fucking anger, what would you then experience? Now, I'm making this up. My point is you can use this on anything. And the key to it is this. The key to it is to feel, not think. And when you feel, and you ask yourself question 2, so whatever your answer is up here, if I was willing to experience, insert that answer, what would I then experience? In order to answer that, you can't answer that unless you shift your willingness to experience the initial thing. So then you get another answer. And what happens is one of 2 things will happen. So one possibility is that you will start at a feeling that's here and you'll go down. That's not very fun, I know that, but that might happen, right? But you'll go down and hit a point and then you'll come back up. And then you come back up and you come back up and you go up and you go up and you go up. And when you run this process on yourself, and you can run this on anybody if you have permission, by the way, that's very, very, very strongly recommended. When you run that process, where do you think it ends? Remember that what you're working with here is basically a scale of emotions, right? What will happen every single time I've used this process to support someone, every time, without fail, unless they're not able or not willing to answer the questions, every single time, whether we've gone down and then up or whether we've just gone up straight away, where it ends is at something like peace, joy, freedom, which are all within you, part of you, right? Does that make sense? So if I continue on with my example, what if I was willing to experience someone chewing with their mouth open, what would I then experience? Anger. Good. See, what happens is that whatever the thing is that you're unwilling to experience, that thing has power over you, right? It's a button. So what you're doing here is you're just looking to remove the resistance that makes it a button. Now, does that mean that you're going to go, man, I love the sound of people chewing with their mouth open. Come on, everybody sit around me and eat. Nah, it's probably not going to happen, mate. I'm exaggerating, but you see my point. All you're looking to do here is to have the button removed, to have the resistance dealt with, right? And it's like it just sort of disappears as you go through this process. You just all of a sudden then, if you take the thing you worked with and you go, all right, well, hold on, does anything seem different to me right now? It's like, yeah, what's no big deal. Okay, well, that's pretty cool. All of a sudden, I've got a degree of freedom that I didn't have even just 5 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago, however long it takes to run that process through for you. Does that make sense? It's very, very, very effective. The aim of it is to release the quantum resistance that sits in the thing that you're unwilling to experience. Will this process alone by itself help you to identify the moment that resistance was created? Not just by itself. but there are other things you can do that will help you to do that, right? That's in the quantum resistance processing stuff that we spoke about. But will this by itself help you do that? Not every time. Sometimes, yes, sometimes, but not every time. So on the subject of rejection, may I have your permission to facilitate this with you? Could I grab a mic, please, guys? Thank you very much. So I have your permission to do this. Cool. I'm going to do this like I would do it with anybody who I'm sitting down to work with one-on-one. So just acknowledge that this is really brave, right? So, okay, so on the subject of rejection, what is it that you're unwilling to experience? Don't think, feel. So center your breath and don't think about it, feel it.
So what am I unwilling to experience about rejection?
On the subject of rejection, what are you unwilling to experience?
I guess it's the judgment.
Judgment, excellent, good. And so if you were willing to experience judgment, what would you then experience?
Well, I guess we got there pretty quick, like freedom. Like if you're willing to experience the judgment and take it in fully, yeah, then you would get the freedom.
Cool. So are you now willing to experience that freedom?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it happened pretty quick there, didn't it? Yeah. Thanks for that.
Now, hold on. Let's do a couple of checks here, right? This, the thing I want to make sure of is that this isn't entertainment, right? Like, let's check this. So what I'd like you to do right now is just inspect the last time you got rejected. And as you look at that right now, does anything seem different to you about it?
A little bit more peaceful about it. Like, thinking about it, I'm definitely like thinking about the actual feeling at the time when you get rejected. Yeah, definitely a lot more like at peace with the thought of being rejected.
Is that a helpful example? Does that help you to see it can really happen and does often happen that quick?
Yeah. Well, rejection is something that we all sort of like face every day, so I thought that'd be a good.
Correct. Yeah,
example.
Spot on. Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for that.
Brilliant. No worries. Thank you. Appreciate you volunteering for it. Hi, I'm Mike Irving. If you found this video valuable and you'd like to know how to explode your sales conversion rate and increase your revenue without using what many consider to be unethical or manipulative selling techniques, check out my Sales Skills Accelerator Masterclass. Click on the link in the comments below to learn how to generate sales more effortlessly than you've ever done before.